If you live to be old enough, you might be defined by an old saying. The best saying for Leo Fender's life might be, "Wherever you go, there you are." He was interested in electronics, and he ended up working with musicians. This put him in the right place at the right time, again and again. He tried unsuccessfully to retire, but he was always back working, here in Fullerton, California. The rest of this video looks at the Fender exhibit at the Fullerton Museum Center, behind this scene and around the corner to the right. Leo Fender came to electric guitars from a different route than everyone else. The others had their roots in acoustic guitars. Fender started with electronic devices like this radio. The guitars came later. His roots in electronics meant that he figured out amplifiers long before his competition. You might not have bought one of his guitars, but you would have likely bought one of his amps back then. They were a benchmark early on. The K in this company was Doc Kauffman. The company only lasted a few years, but it's a rare instance where a breakup in business didn't mean the end of a friendship. Kauffman and Fender knew each other well until the end. Here are some of the first guitars. While they weren't winners in the looks department, they were the beginning of bigger things. Of course, the museum has some items from Fender's best years. This is a modified 1955 Telecaster. This Jaguar is from the transition year of 1965. I was glad to see this sign at the museum. They don't flinch from the truth. Instead, they tell what happened and how bad it was. Of course, companies ruined by new management would make up material for several channels. As branding gets weaker, logos get bigger. Fender's headstocks grew, and this is the only one I have seen that has his first and last name. The headstock is on this banjo, made in 1968. It's said to be a good product, but it's nothing that would have occurred to Leo Fender to make himself. The Fullerton Museum Center also has artifacts from Fender's more recent good years. These pickups were wound by the great Abby Ibarra in 2017. These are master necks. The top one is the model for the American Standard Stratocaster. The middle neck is the model for Geddy Lee's jazz bass. The bottom is the model for Eric Clapton's Stratocaster. Here is the signed headstock from 1988. The Fullerton Museum Center is worth visiting, and it is worth visiting again. It appears that the museum does not own any of the items on display. The signs say, "Owned by," or "Displayed courtesy of." One sign mentioned an item on loan by his widow, Phyllis Fender herself, even though she passed away in 2020. Her estate is generous. Consequently, the collection of Fender items is likely to be something of a revolving door. Items are loaned and taken back by their owners. That's why it's worth more than one visit. Leo Fender had a deep connection to Fullerton. The G in G&L was George Fullerton. As long as friends and family are still in the area, the museum collection is likely to be worth visiting. This Stratocaster was built recently by the Fender Custom Shop to 1954 specifications. Of course, every visit to a museum ends at the gift shop. These bookends are heavy enough that I think they're the real thing, made from guitar bodies. In case you're wondering, I saw but did not photograph one G&L item, a softball warm-up jacket. I did not see any items from Music Man. As various owners rotate their collections through the museum, it's likely that you might see such items at different times.